2023, it's had its fair share of good releases and even great releases, especially for collabs. And I know this is what's thrown out there. A shoe is either fire or it's trash. Everyone says that, right? You look on Instagram, you look anywhere, certainly here on YouTube, and people will either say, hey, is it a cop or is it a drop? And if it's a drop, then that must mean that you think it's trash. Now, it should come as no surprise to anyone, I'm not really a fan of this limited train of thought. Because inherently, it makes you think as a consumer, if I support this brand, this designer, this model, this story, then I gotta buy it. And if I don't, then I'm automatically saying like, hey, it's trash just because I chose not to buy it. I just want to get away from that. Can we get away from that? That's what this video is about. Let's move past this. So side note, it is certainly sweater weather now, or I'm saying that it is in my mind because it's officially fall. So Joe Freshgoods knit had to be brought out. It's cardigan, sweater weather, there's all of that, okay? It's all the things, flannels, hoodies, sweats. Let's get them out, let's get them ready. If we're still in a very hot climate, I'm not talking to you. Please don't die of heat stroke. And if you like what you see, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like. I really appreciate it. It's no secret if you've watched my videos this year, I've passed on quite a bit in 2023. I don't regret that. So let's run down quite a few pairs with just energy that captivated us all, and that you can appreciate, certainly for the story and the design, even if you don't chase them. Let's start off first with J-Tip. So while in Detroit, I had the pleasure of meeting him in person, and he is such a kind and humble star in this game right now. He walks up to me just all calm and cool, and he's like, you may not know who I am. Sir, I may not know who you are? Sir, the man who shook the run-of-the-mill releases with a slight level of petty we all possess, and remember who fronted on his jaw-dropping Sakanigra Azura 2000. It's not meant to be for everyone's style, but it spoke volumes when it dropped in May of this year. The Whitaker Group, that's certainly Maniére social status, the brand, the umbrella leading the charge for collaborations with Nike, with Jordan, and now New Balance. We have continued storylines that are interwoven with Black culture with some of the best short films we've ever seen in sneakers. Also, side note, James didn't really have to remind me that I'm short in real life. Like, maybe I know my angles really well, because if you've met me in person, and some of you did, and I really appreciate it anytime you guys come up to me. Like, trust me, I'm always shocked when this happens at events. But I guess I know my angles because I'm not tall in any way, shape, or form. Like, I'm not. I was reminded of that this weekend. So yeah, if you ever see me, please feel free just to come say hi. For Whitaker Group collabs, sometimes the storyline can jump off the page more than the shoe's design at first glance, but it's what we make of our connections to pairs that should matter the most to each individual consumer. I mentioned New Balance, and the Whitaker Group actually has 2 new colorways coming out. Missing pieces, I'm sure you've seen them around, and I think this leads into exactly what I'm trying to explain in this video. I'm pretty sure there's something you may want to start. A lot of us may want to start things, but we just don't have all of the tools, the skill set, the resources. We just don't feel like we have it all together in that moment to start. But I'll be honest with you, that's just part of the journey itself. You will fill in the missing pieces as you go along. You'll literally acquire the skills and the things you need to continue down that path of wherever you may be headed. But you just gotta start, missing pieces or not. A true love story that boasts an interwoven connection in purpose, passion, and also business for Chris Gibbs and Beth Burkett. You can't mistake this pair for any other Jordan 1 of 2023, and while no doubt polarizing, it's won over many consumers who weren't sold on the woven profile of the shoe, at first that is. Side note, I'll actually have a few pairs of New Balances touching down, I'm not sure the exact week, certainly before I head off to my project with ESPN Women and New Balance. So please be sure to stay tuned for those videos. I'm hoping to get in some brand new models that I don't already have in the collection, which is super exciting. So you already know, I'll unbox those for you. J Balvin may or may not have stolen the second half of 2023 with his Air Jordan 3 special projects we've seen in 2 separate colorways, both centered around sunset, and enough can't be said for how he has global attention for both his music and sneakers as a Latin powerhouse in entertainment. Listen, I said all of that to drive home the message. You don't have to only support these specific designers, artists, or brands with your dollar. by paying $150 on the low end to $250 for every single time a pair releases. Not only is that not possible for many of us, it's also just not responsible based on whatever else you have going on in life. So I would caution you to take that step back, and I promise that it's okay. Because a lot of the intention, the story, the inspiration, the aspiration, whatever they are inspiring you to aspire to yourself in your own life, adapt it. Adapt it to whatever you're doing, to your passions, to your path. And I promise you can actually have that designer's, what is really behind the design, the message, the product itself. Like, yeah, that's product. But there's something behind that. Take that with you and embed that in whatever it is that you do in your own life. Listen, you don't see me buying every single thing that Jerry puts out, do you? No, you don't. And that doesn't mean that I support him or believe in him any less. I can still go about my day-to-day life, period, or creatively, with the same ordered steps, intention, passion, and patience to let things play out exactly as they should, or maybe how I envision them on my own time, because we know Jerry doesn't care about a fashion calendar. However, he is working on 9th collection, so he threw that out there on his stories, but just try it. Just try it. Because I understand, especially if you're a young adult, and you have, or you feel like you have a connection to these designers in terms of what they're putting out, and certainly if the story resonates with you. I mean, let's just think about some of the stories put out. I get it, it pulls at your heart, but it doesn't always have to pull at your pockets. That's all I'm saying. Alright, so hopefully you enjoyed this video, you took something positive from it. I really appreciate any time you spent here on the channel. Hopefully you caught some of my recent videos, because I promise you, like, that #1 nemesis for sneakerheads, yeah, it's hard to beat, alright? Thank you for tuning in. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.